Hello, my name is Gretchen, and in this video, we're going to walk through some of the resources that are available to you to support the last section of the instructional storyline for the Biomimicry Youth Design Challenge. In the Mimic instructional approach, this section is called Communicate. We'll also go over the submission requirements and submission process for the competition. Quick reminder, all of the resources shown in this video can be found on the website once you have logged in. So after your students have developed their design ideas and created a model of a biomimicry solution, you'll be ready for the lessons in Communicate. In Communicate, teams will share evidence to explain how their biomimicry design solution solves their particular targeted problem and how nature inspired their design. In Lesson 20, students are encouraged to reflect on their experience participating in the design challenge. How has their thinking about nature, problem solving, engineering, and technology changed from when they began the challenge? This lesson has suggestions for both personal and group reflection activities. Lesson 21 provides a framework for you and your students to share their design solutions and their design process with a particular group of stakeholders, people who would be interested in or affected by the problem and the design solution they created. Lesson 22 provides the resources and guidance for teams to prepare and submit their design to the Biomimicry Institute for awards consideration. A team of biomimicry and education experts will review the entries and select the projects that best exemplify different aspects of the design challenge. Next, we'll go over what is required to enter the YDC competition. First, and perhaps simplest, is a project overview. These are 3 questions, up to 100-word responses for each, that address what problem the team addressed for the challenge and how it relates to the design brief about climate change, what the design solution does and how it solves the problem that was selected, and how the solution was inspired by nature. Pretty straightforward. Next, there's a video pitch. The video pitch should provide an engaging, high-level overview of the design project and convince the judges that the idea has merit. The video is not to exceed 2 minutes in length, and it should be uploaded and made publicly viewable to a video sharing platform. Either Vimeo or YouTube work great. This video link will be entered on the submission form. In the resources, we offer a storyboard worksheet that can help students plan for creating their video, as well as a video pitch tips guide that offers some low-cost ways to create a good video without needing anything fancier than a smartphone and free video software available online. Next, we have the project portfolio. This is a document or a presentation that combines both narrative and images to tell the story of the team's design and their process for developing it. Now, it's really important that this be illustrative and not just a written report. We would like to see the evidence of the students' work, what models or drawings they created in developing their ideas, how they approached selecting their specific problem, researching biological models, and getting feedback from others and testing their design ideas. Again, we have resources in the curriculum to support this, including a project portfolio guidelines and checklist. Next requirement is a project image. This will be sort of the key image associated with the project when it's displayed on our website. So it should be a drawing, a diagram, or a photograph that clearly portrays what the team's design solution is. Now, to help you and your students in preparing all of these submission materials, we have a rubric. This is used by the judges in evaluating projects. And we also have a version of this that is a team self-assessment so that students can go through and check their work against the kinds of things that the judges will be looking for in their projects. The categories on the rubric and the self-assessment are broken down in ways that match the MIMIC process. So focusing on problem definition, researching of biological models, that lines up with the match section. The innovate section lines up with iterative design process and development of the proposed design solution. And then finally, we have communication and presentation. Now, these are all equally weighted on the rubric. The awards are correlated to the rubric as well. So we have 5 awards that will be given that are meant to highlight the student projects that best exemplify these areas within the project and the rubric. So again, we have a problem definition award, a naturalist award for research into biological models, the design cycle award, which focuses on the iterative nature of the design process and testing and getting feedback. The Changemaker Award is for a project that is extremely innovative and could have real potential moving forward. And then the Storyteller Award recognizes engaging storytelling in terms of presenting the team's work and innovation process. Now, just a quick note on where you can find some more information about all of these things. If you go to the challenge details page, the judging and awards tab will take you to the list of awards. And there's also from that menu a sub-page for the submission guidelines. And linked within that page are numerous resources that will help address each of those particular submission requirements. Now, I would encourage you to check out some of the existing projects that are in the gallery from teams that have won awards in the past. A Concrete Solution is one that you might want to check out. This was a high school team that won second place in the program last year. They did a really great job with their video, so I'd encourage you to check that out and share that with your team and really pay attention to how the team described their design problem, how they selected their biological models, and the design thinking that went into developing their solution. One of the questions we often get surrounds the project portfolio and what that should look like. The portfolio isn't something that we post publicly in the gallery, so sometimes it feels like a little bit of a mystery. So I wanted to take some time to show some examples, again, from past projects for project portfolios and how they address the different aspects of the rubric. So problem definition is an important thing that we want to see in the portfolio. And, you know, a clear description of what the problem is, how it was selected, and the criteria and constraints are the key things to address in this category. Now, for addressing biological models, we want to see a demonstration by the students that they understand their biological model. Drawings can be really helpful in communicating this, and a description in their own words of how that biological model works to help that organism survive, and how that biological model is related to the problem they are trying to solve with their design innovation. We also really encourage teams to look at multiple biological models to make sure that they're picking the one that's going to suit their challenge the best. So it can be really helpful in the project portfolio to make that thinking and decision-making evident. And here's a couple examples of teams that communicated that through a decision matrix or other table that showed what they looked at and how they decided what was going to be most relevant to this problem they were trying to solve. Now, iterative design is really about idea development. And it's really great if students can show where they started with their idea and where they ended up. So sketches of early ideas that maybe were discarded or transformed through the design process can be really helpful in illustrating this. And then also testing and getting feedback. We want to see that students have sort of probed their idea and thought about how it could be better or more effective through either creating something that they could test to get more information about how their design idea might work, or speaking with experts and getting feedback from them. It doesn't have to be a fancy 3D printed thing, and it doesn't have to be a functional model or even modeling the entire idea. Testing a portion of it can be really revealing in the overall design process and help students get to a stronger solution. And now in sort of communicating what that final proposed solution is, we're looking for drawings, diagrams, illustrations, photographs of models that clearly show what the solution is and how it is intended to work. So drawings or diagrams with labels that call out different parts, multiple views can be all really useful and helpful. Physical models, even if they're just built out of cardboard, all of these things are very, very helpful. And then finally, sort of as a whole, just to emphasize again that we want to see a presentation that uses image and text effectively together and is being thoughtful about the audience that's going to be looking at this. So, a 10-page report isn't going to be as effective as something that has the right balance of photos and drawings and text to explain what's being shared. And one suggestion to consider when presenting students with the task of creating these different submission materials is to help them envision a real world scenario in which they're sharing their project with a group of stakeholders. So you could think of the 3 major parts of the submission as steps that you might go through to convince a group of people to help move the design forward. So the project overview is, the quick brief that could be shared in a quick phone call, sort of the elevator pitch or an email, to get people interested in learning more. The video pitch is a little bit more in depth. It's meant to provide, more of the image and sort of moving and engaging aspects of sort of selling the project and the idea. The goal of which is sort of to get those stakeholders even more interested in wanting the details. And then that project portfolio is where the details really come to the fore and describe more about the problem, how the solution was created, and the details of how it would work, with the goal to convince the stakeholders to support in helping make that a reality. So this is a way that you can kind of think about the relationship between all these pieces and sort of telling your students a story that they can wrap their heads around for why they're doing all these different components. So you've created all the materials with your students and you're ready to submit. How do you do that? So first of all, you're going to need to log in. And then from the challenge details page, there's a big Submit Now button. So clicking on that will get you started with the submission form. The submission form has 2 pages or parts. The first is going to be collecting information about your team, and then the second page will be the submission materials. If you want, you can log in and just enter the team information and save and come back later to enter the submission materials. Just make sure you don't forget to hit that final submit button at the end. Once you have a saved draft, you can revisit your drafts by going to your My Submissions page from your user menu. And then that will show you a list of all the draft submissions you've created. You can go in and edit and complete them, or if you have extra ones you didn't mean to create, you can delete them. You can manage that all from the My Submissions page. So hopefully that gets you started and excited to finish the process and get your students' work in for consideration. We're really excited to see what they've come up with. Thanks so much for being part of the challenge this year.